Hi there. I am Kelly and I am back. We are in day 4 of our temper management challenge. And I just want to say thank you for the grace for changing the time today. So I wasn't aware that I needed to be at this final assembly for my son and that he would be given some more recognition and awards and that I needed to be there for it. And it happened to start right at 11 o'clock. So anyway, here we are. And today we are going to talk about mindset. And we are also going to talk about virtue. And we are also going to talk about how not to lose your mind when you're with your kids. And it is the biggest hurdle that I have with parents. They are so, it's the number one concern is that they lose their temper. They lose it. They yell. They go off on their kids. And then they feel so bad. Then they feel guilt. Then they feel shame. And then usually that spiral starts all over again the next day because they haven't learned any skills or any strategies to not show up like that the next day. And so today we are just going to talk about some thoughts that that hinder us. And I'm going to try to give you thoughts to put in place of the negative ones or the ones that hinder us from connecting and showing up how we want to with our kids. So one of the biggest thought errors is what I call it is I'm a bad parent. I lost my temper on my child. I started to yell and I'm a bad parent. And I'm always going to be this way. There's no hope. I've been wanting to change for 2 years and I'm still showing up like this. And I'm always quick to give reassurance that you're not always going to be like this. And parenting is an 18, 20-year journey. And you are capable because you were able to keep your child healthy through pregnancy. And even if you adopted a child, even if you are a parent, to your coworkers or to animals, or we are capable of as human beings of controlling our mind and having thoughts that will help us instead of harm us or harm, the way we show up to our kids. And so the thought, I'm a bad parent, it is not helpful. It does not in any way make your behavior different in my experience. So what's another one? Something is wrong with me. I'm doing this wrong. All my friends are doing this better. Nobody else loses their temper. Nobody else gets mad and screams or yells or stomps away from their kids. Yes, they do. I see parents all the time who do it. In full transparency, I have done it. And we have talked earlier in the week about what to do to set ourselves up for success so we don't do that. And so for me, I know I have to have rest. I know the things that I have to do in order to show up and not lose it with my kids. And I can do that a lot better, but I have to have my mindset right. And parenting is too hard. It's too hard. I can't change it. It's just hard. I really, I need other people to step in and do most of it because I always lose my temper with my child. I just can't do it. It's too hard for me. I just give up. Okay, those thoughts don't help at all. They really don't. And your child does need you. We know for sure that God gave you the children you have for a reason. He did not make a mistake. And that you do have the ability to parent your kids well and to not lose your temper and to not lose your mind and to show up in a healthy way to guide them and help them grow. And kids are wired to give you grace. And so I have a lot of parents who feel such regret from, maybe 3 months ago when they really yelled at their child or something. And kids are really, they're quick to forget, they're easy to forgive. And in a lot of around 3 or 4, they don't even remember it. Like they're not going to have a memory of it. So don't let it keep you in this defeated place of, nothing's going to get better. So for the thought, I'm a bad parent, I want you to think, I'm a parent who's learning and growing. I'm a parent who makes mistakes, but I'm getting better every day. That could be a thought that would be better to have. And okay, I'm seeing some comments come in here. It can be your own version of it. I would write down 2 or 3 thoughts that you actually can believe about the way that you parent that will help you. Like, I can step away from my kids when I start to get angry to take 3 breaths. So that would be a healthier thought than I'm a bad parent, I'm never going to be good at this. Do you see the difference? Like, I want you to have something that could help you in that moment. And so when I'm mad, I'm going to step away and take 3 breaths. And we talked earlier in the week about how when you step away, you are instantly releasing some of that tension in a stressful situation with your child. So just by stepping away, you've de-escalated it. And then you're going to take 3 breaths. And sometimes that's a really huge win because we can be angry and frustrated and impatient and exhausted from all the other responsibilities we have to do. And so just have that thought in your mind. When I'm angry, I'm going to step away and take 3 breaths. What was one of the other ones? Something is wrong with me. Something is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with you. I'm here to tell you that by God's design, parenting is challenging because it is to grow us in virtue. It's to grow us towards sainthood. It's to grow us out of our comfort zone into challenging situations so we are stretched and grow. So you can say to yourself, I am really growing closer to God right now in this situation with this particular child. And for me, it makes it okay. It makes me think, okay, God really loves me. And man, he must really think I'm capable of a lot. And what's the Bible verse about? To whom much is given, much is expected. And so, we have been giving the gift of these children, and it is a gift that, we're expected to lead them and guide them well. And I appreciate that my kids have helped me see things in a different perspective. And I, in myself, think I can be more rigid and, see things only the way that I see them. But what I love about what my kids help me with is they each have their own perspective. And a lot of time it's better than mine. Their ideas, their thinking skills are better than mine. And so when I can pause and think, okay, why are we butting heads here? Can I think of it from their perspective? And usually when I can, it softens me. And so the other thing I want to tell you is I think mothers need to know our weapons, our superpowers, our ways of being effective with our kids are our feminine qualities, our sensitivity, our generosity, our charity. And so I often coach moms who seem to be so analytical and in their head thinking and trying to control. And I really challenge them to take a week and parent out of their intuition and their grace in charity, and to love first, and then to be really critiquing and second, because I think if you start with that love first, you will be amazed at how effectively you can connect with your kids, and just how open they are. And so give yourself grace. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Every parent I know loses their temper. Every parent I have ever worked with has felt like they were going to lose their mind, sometimes multiple times a day. You're normal. You're a normal human. Parenting a child who has all these different seasons, ups and downs of development and growth and brain growth and body growth and hormones and voice changes and all kinds of developmental changes and emotional changes and social changes to keep up with, what's going on with peer pressure, all these different things. I mean, our kids go through so much, and they need you to help them, and they need you to show up from a place of, I can give grace. And one thing that I meant to mention yesterday that I said I would think about is, one thing that I do a lot with young kids is I get down on their level. And when I bend down or crouch down and can look in their eyes and I'm right on their level, that is that's a level for partnership. And so a lot of parents will say, they don't listen. They don't listen. I've told them 3 times. And I'll say, did you go up to them and bend down and look in their eyes and ask them to do whatever you need them to do? And a lot of times a parent will say, well, no, I didn't have time for that. I've got a room full of kids. We were just going. And so if your kids are busy playing with something, again, young kids, play is their job. And so if you're at your job working and focused on a project, or you're focused on fixing a meal, and somebody says something to you once, you might not catch it. And then a second time, because you're focused on what you're doing, you could also miss it. And so it is like that with our kids. Even though as adults, we kind of think, oh, they're just playing with those trucks over there. That's not really that important. That's just play. Well, play to a child is as vital to them, and it's their job. It's how they learn. It's how they grow, develop, explore, experience the world. And so it's as vital to them as a job for an adult is. And so a lot of times they're focused and they aren't listening. And so if you go over there and get down on their level, again, crouch down so you can see them eye to eye, and on their level, they don't feel like you're trying to have control over them as much. And it's interesting, but there's lots of research that supports, if you will bend down and be on their level, that feels better to them. They are more receptive, and they're more in a posture that will accept whatever you're trying to ask of them, teach them, or whatever. So you're not a bad parent, and you can absolutely get the skills and get the strategies to be an effective, connected parent. And I have a list of thought errors that so many parents think about their kids, and then kind of the opposite, things that we can say instead that will help, give you hope, that will help give you a strategy of what to do in that moment when you think you are going to lose your mind. Okay, the other part of mindset is really understanding that we're growing in virtue. And so, we're inviting the Lord in to all of our parenting, and we want to ask for the Lord to grow us in virtue, faith, hope, love, self-control, all the virtues. And if we ask, we will get help. And so I just encourage you, parents. And so for your homework today, we are going to have you write down a couple of the negative thoughts that come up for you. One of the thoughts that came up this week with a parent that I was working with was, my child doesn't want to come to me anymore. They'd rather be with the nanny. When I put them to bed at night, they would rather, they're calling for the nanny to read the book. And so this parent feels like, I'm such a terrible parent. My child doesn't even choose me. They're choosing the nanny. Actually, that's a developmentally age-appropriate stage for this little girl. And I was able to talk the parent through that whole situation and give her a thought that right now, my child really is attached to my nanny, but my child absolutely knows I'm their mother and loves me. And so if you're having a negative thought, and I want you to write them down, and then we're going to try to generate, I want you guys to try to generate what a good thought would be. What is a positive thought that could counter the negative one that you wrote down? And so go into the Facebook group and post it, or post a video and tell me what those negative thoughts are. Tell me your positive one. And if you can't think of a positive one, let me know, because I can help you with that. And then just if you have, once you get a positive thought, I want you to say it out loud several times a day. So your brain starts registering the positive thought. Sometimes I'll post it on my bathroom mirror. If you are in my bathroom or in my closet, I have little Post-its all over of thoughts that I want to think. And it helps me a lot. And so I want you guys to do that also. At the bottom, it talks about what is a virtue. A virtue is a habit of choosing the good. And I listed 13 core virtues. And so let me know which one you would like to grow in. Okay. For the next minute or so, I would like to tell you all about my brand new membership. I want to invite you into it. It is going to be a way for me to help you with skills, with independence, with confidence in your kids. So there are less power struggles, less meltdowns, less tantrums, less misunderstandings. Because just like this parent who thought her daughter didn't love her anymore because her daughter was requesting the nanny to read her a story, once I could explain to her really what her child was communicating at this certain age that she is, the parent felt so much better. She understood that she wasn't a bad parent. She wasn't lacking in anything. It was just kind of that growth and development that all of these kids go through. And so that is what I want to help you with. So with this new membership, it's going to be weekly access to me, parent coach, mindset coach, and you're going to get to draw on my over 20 years experience as an occupational therapist, working with kids, working with families, working with all kinds of situations. I had a situation come up this week about a child who was being violent. Well, I was teaching a little handwriting class a couple years ago and had a child start throwing chairs. And so there aren't any situations that I can't help you with. And I don't want you to do this parenting journey alone. You shouldn't. And I want you to think of me as your back pocket parent coach, that when you need something, when something comes up, you're like, okay, I'm going to connect with Kelly this week and be able to ask her. And so that's what I'm going to help you with. The membership is going to be 8 different things that you're going to have access to. And so it is my Simple 6 course, which is 6 vital skills that every young child has to have. And this is a video course. There's also some printouts. And basically, each of these 6 areas, if you just do one thing for a couple minutes a day with your child is going to cover all the areas to really grow and thrive in every area that they need. And again, I mean, these 6 areas I address with every child that I work with in a 1-hour session. It's what I talk to parents about. It's what I talk to teachers about. A lot of teachers will come to me and say, okay, I have this child who is doing this and I need him to do that, but it's in a group setting, or he's doing this on the playground. How can I help? And so I'm just able, again, just have had so many different experiences that I can help with all kinds of different things. You're also going to have, besides the weekly coaching, besides the Simple 6, there's going to be, I'm going to do a piece on the spiritual realm, like protective prayer bundle. So things that I do as a Catholic mom to protect my kids on a daily basis, because there is a spiritual battle going on. And I think a lot of parents, a lot of mothers don't realize the authority that they have in their child's lives. And you need to invoke all of the help, all of the heavenly help you can get, because your kids need it. There is a lot that goes on that our kids can need our help. So we're also going to do a game guide once a month. And that is where I have just regular games you can buy on Amazon, or you can buy at Walmart, Hi-Ho Cheerio, Connect 4, Jenga. But I want you to have access to my brain about why I like these games. What skills am I working on? What different things can I do with these games? And so parents are amazed when I tell them what to do with a simple game that they already own. They're like, I had no idea I could play this particular game, Connect 4, 5 different ways, and a lot of it involves physical activity. So I, again, take games and use them out of context. I will also play by the rules, because I think that's important for kids to also know that. But a lot of times I will use them in different ways. And if some of you saw my Instagram this week, I was working with a little girl, and we were using Tenzi dice and Jenga blocks. And I was working with her on visual, on colors, on dots, visual spatial skills. There were a million things I was working with her on with those 2 games together. So that is the type of thing that I want to help you with. There's also going to be a power struggle script, like what you can say to your child exactly to keep those power struggles just de-escalated. I don't want those to be a thing for you. So just lots of good stuff. And more importantly, like, I really want a community of women who are there for each other. And so I was guest speaker earlier in the week and to some moms. And the goal was for me to speak for 30 minutes. Well, after an hour and a half, the leader was like, I have to cut you off. And it was because there were so many questions that were coming up from all these women. And I'm just a little bit further down the road. Obviously, I have a senior. And so they were wanting to know, okay, well, what about this or what about that? And one of the questions, a mother had a senior and she said, oh my goodness, she said, he never listens. And another mom piped up and she said, oh, well, I just saw there's a study that talks about at a certain age, teenagers actually, their ears don't hear our parents. And that is true. And it's not just boys, it's also girls. And it's a developmental stage. It's the way God made us. And it's actually, it just shows the tenderness of God, because he realizes, like, okay, these kids need to get separated from their parents because they're leaving to go to college. And so by closing the kids' ears, they're more aggravating to parents. And these kids have to think more and do things more independently, which is exactly how they're going to be when they're off on their own. And so what's interesting is I told these parents, I said, I've been texting my kids. That's how I really communicate with them, because I understand development and I also see it, that it's not as effective. They don't like my tone of voice. When I ask them to do things, it's the wrong time. They're doing their own thing. They're working, they're doing homework, or they're engaged with whatever. So when I talk to them, again, a lot of times they don't catch it. And so I text. And so another mom was saying she puts tape stuff to her teenager's door, like their bedroom door. And it'll say, A, B, and C need to be done. And then she's good. So it's all of those little things that come up. And I just want there to be a weekly place that we can all meet. You can have your questions answered. You can feel supported. And again, for a Catholic parent, parenting is a long journey and it is challenging. But I want to be there for you and with you. I've got you. So I am going to put the link. I don't have it, but I will put it in the Facebook group right after this so you can join. Thank you.